Hey Divine Ones, it's Jerome Braggs, and I want to come to you with another live. So give me 1 second. I actually want to share this on my other page as well. So give me 1 second to try to share this because I want. I usually do my lives on Tuesdays on my business page, but I wanted to come on my personal page today and do that. So I'm going to share this to my page. Give me 1 second. All right. So hey, I'm glad I'm seeing some of you all joining in now. So I wanted to talk to you today about something that's been coming up in a lot of conversations I've been having with clients as well as with just in friend spaces and other personal spaces around illness and disease and healing specifically. And so I want to share that with you. And I also want to share with you just a kind of heads up about some things that are coming up for me. I've been realizing that there's a lot of, I'm changing my work a bit. So if a lot of you have been asking me when am I going to do more live events and when am I going to be out there, there's a lot of live events coming up for me at the end of the year, but I got some intuitive guidance, at the beginning of 2018 to not put on a lot of live events and to step back and to kind of really tune into my message and to change my message around. So if you've been following me for a while, this year, you've heard me talk a lot about trauma and what trauma is to the soul. And I wasn't talking a lot about that before, but that's kind of getting my message out there. Also, I'm getting ready to do a video blog. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff around healing and a lot of what I learned, because I haven't shared. There's a lot kind of pent up in here that wants to get out about what I've learned in my journey, and not just my near death experience, but the mystical journey, kind of the masterclass that happened after that. So I'm going to be sharing a lot, and because my journey was really a masterclass in understanding what healing really is, what it takes to live a really well and delicious life, which is what I call well-being, and what the soul is. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of that and doing a video blog and probably blogging at least twice a week. And so going into depth around a lot of different things that I showed to help people not just heal themselves, but really experience more well, soul embodied and delicious lives, because that's why we're here. That's really what the intention for the life that you're living as a soul. That's why your soul came here. It came to live a well, soul embodied and delicious life. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of what I learned about that along my own journey, about how to do that, about what's in the way of that, and all of that good stuff. So there's some good stuff coming from me. And also I'm restructuring my services. So if you haven't heard about me doing a lot of live events, that's why. I'm working behind the scenes. I'm revamping my website. I'm going to completely put out a new website probably at the end of this year. And I'm going to go deeper. I'm going very, very much deeper in my services, because what I talk about and what I help people with, sometimes one session is just not enough. And sometimes these videos, right, or one workshop is not enough. So I'm going to be offering a lot of retreats and things. So like 4 and 5 day retreats, some personal one-on-one retreats where you spend one-on-one time with me over several days. I'm also going to be doing some live kind of intensive coaching sessions and things like that. So there's a lot of good stuff coming from me, but just give me some time to kind of put it all in order before I kind of launch it out live. I see all of you all. Hey, all of you all, I see you tuning in. So I just wanted to share that before I dive into the topic for tonight. There has been some questions about when am I going to do another live event, when am I going to do some things, and I've been trying to restructure to make sure that what I'm putting out there serves all of you all in the way that you most need, and in the way that allows me to share the information that I've gotten around the topics that I like to talk about, in a way that gets it out there, in a way that I'm passionate about, and in a way that you'll most receive it. So stay tuned, because some juicy live stuff is coming from me. A lot more stuff is coming. Just stay tuned for a minute. I'm still working through that. So having said all of that, let's jump into today's topic. So I have been having a lot of conversations with people recently some clients that have been coming to me to help them heal from illnesses or diseases, and then into some of the spaces that I move in my life, like some of the networking groups I'm in, some of the friendships I'm in, all of that. The conversation about disease and illness, and what it's really about, and why are we having such difficulty healing ourselves, right? You're drinking the green juice, you changed to a vegan diet, you're exercising more, you're doing all that, but you're still not getting better. Like, why is that happening? And I wanted to come and really talk to you about what disease really is, like what it actually really is. And this is not something we're being taught in our institutions. This consciousness and this awareness is coming more into some institutions, but it's still not the dominant conversation. But this is something that healers have known across the time span of humanity, right? The healers in the indigenous tribes, the medicine men, the energy workers, the energy healers. This is something that most of them have known. And this is also something that a lot of them may not be speaking about. There are some people that are even in the realm that aren't really speaking about it like this. And I know from myself in my own healing journey, this is kind of the thing that took me the longest thing to understand, because it wasn't the predominant conversation. And so I had to kind of there weren't a lot of people talking about it, at least in my sphere of influence, like in the space that I was moving in. And so I had to kind of learn the hard way. But when I learned this, when I really got this, my healing journey started to shift dramatically, right? And what that really is like, illness is not a punishment, or disease. It's not God punishing you because you did something wrong, or you were something unholy, or you ate something wrong, which is something that, is a really big belief paradigm that's going on now, that really the illness, there's a cause of it, and it's usually something you're eating, or some type of bacteria or virus or something like that. It really is not that. Like, it's not a punishment. It's not a reflection of something you've been doing wrong. Illness is not a punishment. Again, because why is illness not a punishment? Because your body loves you, number one. So your body loves you unconditionally. Our bodies love us unconditionally. And so the body is not punishing you, and it's not betraying you either. It's not just going off in its own, doing something really strange. There is something, illness is not a punishment, but it is something. And this is something you may have never heard before. If you've never really had to heal from a terminal illness or a quote unquote incurable illness, this may not have been something that was ever told to you before, or that was, cause it's not the popular paradigm. It's not the thing that's in, our institutions or whatever that's being taught to us. It's not the narrative around health and wellness and illness that's out there. Illness is just an indicator. It is just like you have an indicator on your car that says when the gas is empty, right? And it's like, when it comes to E, it doesn't mean, it's not a punishment. The E or empty sign on your car is not a punishment. It's not your car saying you're bad or you did something wrong and now I don't have any gas. It's an indicator that there's not enough gas in this car for me to run well, right? That's the indicator for that. Illness is the indicator that there is resistance in your system to your natural self. So I need to go into this a little bit deeper so you can really fully understand. So there is and this is the thing that's going to it may trigger you, because it's going to be very different from anything that may have heard before. But I'm going to say it because this is literally what I was shown in my healing journey. It was what I was shown in my near-death experience. And I see all of you all putting some stuff in. I'll get to that. I'll get to your comments in just a second. I need to keep my train of thought or I'll forget. So I'll get to your comments, but I do see you all. But this is something that I was shown in my near-death experience. And then I had to learn full, and I had to have an experience of this through my healing journey, my multi-year healing journey. And that is, there is no source of illness. Now this is going to get you. There is no source of illness. Now we're taught there is. We're taught there is this bacteria that's the source of this virus, or you're eating this bad food, or you're doing all that. That there's no source of illness. Illness is just a communication between. It's really a communication between you and your soul through your body. The body is a communication device. It's a communication device between the human part of your consciousness and the soul part of your consciousness. And what I mean by there's no source of illness, it's like light, right? So the light in this room right now, right? If I wanted to turn the lights off in this room, I don't go over to the light switch and hit the dark switch. There is no dark switch. There's no switch that turns the darkness in. There's no source of like that comes in and turns like all the light molecules in the air inky darkness, right? There's nothing like that. There's no source of darkness. What darkness is a resistance to the light. What makes the room dark is it sends a resistor. Like there's a resistor in the electrical field that resists the electrical current that turns the light on. It resists it. So meaning it gets in the way, it kind of blocks it, right? For a minute. The same thing with the sun and the shadows. There's no source of shadow. There is no source of shadow. Shadow doesn't have a source. There's not some creature that creates the shadow and breathes out shadow, or there's not something that comes, when the sun goes down, there's not some other planet that comes up that is the source of darkness for the planet. The reason why we have darkness is because the planet turns and it resists, the part of the planet we're on is blocking, resisting the light. That's the only source of darkness, right? The same goes for illness. There is no source of illness in the body. Illness or disease is an indication that you have something blocking the wellness of you. And the wellness of you is the light of you. And this is the big aha. When you get this, this will dramatically shift your healing journey. Illness is only an indicator that somehow you are blocking your natural self from being expressed in the world. And one of the big ways you're blocking is you're blocking joy. You're resisting somehow the way you've been living and the way you've been thinking about yourself is blocking the natural vibration of love that you are and the natural vibration of joy that you are. That's it. And in order to get the light back on in your life, which is the light of wellness, just like if I turn the lights out and I want to get the light back on, I have to stop resisting the light. I just have to turn the light switch back on for the light. I don't have to fight the dark. I do not have to fight it. I don't have to. This is something that's happening why a lot of us aren't healing well, is because we're starting to fight our disease. We have these fights against cancer, these fights against AIDS. It's not something to fight because there's no source of it. And again, I know this is very different for many of you all because this is not where we're being taught in our systems. But it's just like the dark, that you don't need to fight the dark. Like if a child is scared of the dark, right? You have a child and they're crying in their bedroom and you go to the bedroom and you say, what's going on? And they're scared of the dark. You don't get a sword and a shield out of the closet and start going to war with the dark. You turn on the light. And when the light comes on, all the shadow is gone and the child's not scared of the dark anymore because they're in the light. This is the same thing with healing. Disease is not a punishment. It's not something you need to fight. It is an indicator that somewhere within you, you are resisting the energy of your natural self. And the energy of your natural self that you're in resistance to is love and joy. And what does that mean? What does that mean you're in resistance? So one, you may be doing something, and it's not usually some big thing either. This is the other thing. A lot of us think that when we have some illness, especially if it's incurable, then it means there must be some big thing going on, or we must be doing some big resistance. It's really usually not that. It's like a series of small things that you've just allowed to keep going. So what I mean by that is it's like I'll use myself for an example, right? So the illnesses that arose for me were kidney failure and HIV. Right. And I was literally on my deathbed twice with those things. And I thought it was this massive things. I need to change my diet and all that. And I did all that. I was vegan before vegan was popular. Trust me. I was raw vegan before raw vegan was popular. I was organic raw vegan before, and gluten free and all that before it was before anybody even knew what those words meant. right? And I was doing those things for a while, and while I saw some increase in my health, it wasn't dramatic, and I wasn't healing. And my healing didn't come until this awareness started to come, where I was resisting and when I started to understand it, it wasn't about this food. It wasn't about this diet or this exercise. It wasn't about that. What it was about was I was hiding myself. I was suppressing aspects of myself. I wasn't living the life I really wanted to live. I wasn't living my authentic life that I really wanted to live. I wasn't doing that. I felt lonely and I wasn't addressing that. Not just lonely of like trying to date somebody, but community wise. I'm a very communal type of person. Even though I'm an introvert, I'm also very communal. I've always been the arc of my life. If you look at my sense of childhood, I had a lot of cousins. I was always with my cousins. When I came into, my teenage years, I had a large group of friends. It wasn't just me and one friend. It was like I had like 14 friends, and we were always hanging out, all of us together, and spending the night at each other's house. When I left high school, I was in the Glee Club at Morehouse College, and that was like 100 guys, and we traveled together and we hung out, and I saw them all the time. And then when I moved back to Oklahoma, and when I got out of college, I didn't have like a strong friendship, kind of communal friendship. And I started to feel lonely, and I didn't really address that. Right. So I was feeling lonely, and that was something that was very important to me, was to have kind of a community setting. I didn't have that. I wasn't doing work that fulfilled me. I was doing work that stressed me out and drained me. And it's like all these little places in your life where things are bothering you, where things are stressing you out, that you're doing things that you don't really want to do. You're doing things that you don't enjoy. You're not saying no. You're being overwhelmed. You're taking too much on and being overwhelmed. It's like all these little spaces that are literally draining the life out of you. And you just have a lot of them. Usually it's not just like one big major thing. It's like these little things around here that you've made to think are not a big deal in your head. And if it was just one thing, it wouldn't be a big deal because it wouldn't drain as much life force energy out of you, right? So you can do one thing like that for a very long time before it starts to show up in the body. You can like work a job that's stressing you out for a very long time before it starts to show in the body. But you can't work a job that you don't like and then be in a relationship that's toxic for you and then also be lonely at the same time. Those are like 3 drains, and those are heavily draining, and that is showing you're resisting that, you're draining the energy of who you really are out of your body, right? And it just, the light, you don't have enough of you, of the energy of love, because you are literally love energy manifest in human form. You are literally love, the energy of unconditional love manifested in human form. That's what God energy actually is. When somebody says you're God manifested as a human being, what they're saying is you are literally love energy manifested as a human being. And anytime you are living a life where you're ashamed of yourself, there's a lot of fear, and you have all of these things that are draining your joy from you, you're going to get sick. And the more you have that, the more, the bigger, quote unquote, the bigger the illness is going to be, the more serious it is, right? And again, it's nothing to really be afraid of. It's just your body telling you, indicating to you, you're on empty. Literally, just like the gas cage. Your body, when it gets sick, it's saying you are on empty. You do not have enough love energy inside of you, inside of your body, and you don't have enough joy inside of your body. And the body needs that to run well, just like your car needs fuel. That's the fuel that keeps your body well, and that's the fuel that keeps your life running very well. When you don't have those energies in your body, when you have a lot of shame, and a lot of fear, which drain the love energy out of the body, right? So for me, I had a lot of that. I had a lot of shame for my sexuality, and I had a lot of shame around my body image. I used to think I was very unattractive and fat, and I was too fat to be loved. That's what I used to think. So that shame was around. And then I had a lot of fear. I was scared to really be myself in the world, because I thought, because I was, a same gender loving person, that if I fully expressed who I really was in the world, I'd be rejected and I'd be abandoned and I might even get harmed. So I had a lot of fear and suppression around that. That was a drain. Then I wasn't living my life that I wanted to live. I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do. I was feeling lonely. I didn't have a community and belonging. And then all these other little, I was saying yes to a whole bunch of stuff and I was feeling overwhelmed. I was doing stuff I didn't want to do, working a job that wasn't really, fulfilling me. And so my body was like, you are on empty and you're about to go out of here. Because just like your car, you run that car on empty, what's it going to do? Shut down on you in the middle of the highway. And that's literally what my body was doing. And I did not know this aspect of it at the beginning of my healing journey, that all healing is about is putting fuel back into your body. That's really what it's fueling your body back. And what the fuel that fuels the body, the human body, and allows it to be well and to thrive is love energy, which is self-appreciation and self-acceptance, and which are the foundations of love. There are other aspects, other vibrations that are part of love, but those are the foundational vibrations: self-acceptance, self-appreciation, and then joy. Joy. You got to live an authentic life. You got to live an authentic life of joy, right? That is what it is. And so disease and illness, there's no, it's not a punishment. It's not your, it's not, and I'm going to read some of your all's comments in just a second because I'm almost through with this thought. It's not a punishment, and it's not because you didn't drink enough green juice or, you weren't doing enough yoga or anything like that. Unless yoga is absolutely your passion and you have been withholding yourself from it and you feel a hole in your heart around that. Unless green juice is your passion, like you love green juice. It's like pizza to some people, to like how pizza is for other people. They live for it. Maybe green juice is yours and you've been withholding yourself from it and you've been depriving yourself from it and you feel like there's less joy in your life because you're not drinking green juice. That's where that kind of stuff comes up, right? It's really about your healing journey isn't about trying to change your diet or deprive yourself of stuff. It's about refueling and recharging your life with joy and love, period. And that's why the disease is there. It has arisen to indicate to you, just like we have the indicators in our car when the car is getting on empty, sometimes a little light with a little gasoline thing will come on to say you're about to run on empty and the car is about to check out. That's what the disease is there, saying you are running on empty from life force energy. And you need to refuel yourself with life force energy or you're about to check out. Because the body cannot run without life force energy. And you're about to check out. And that's all it is. We make it such a huge deal. And this is why so many of us are finding it so hard to heal. We've made healing this huge deal, and it is not this huge, arduous thing that we need to approach. It's just, where am I not living my life fully in joy? Fully, not occasional joy, right? Not I fill my car up once a month, right? No, like is your car on E? The car of your life. Where is it on E? Where are the places that there's no joy there? How do you fill those spaces with joy, right? What do you need right now to feel happier? And then the other part is, where are you not loving yourself? Where are you not appreciating? Where are you feeling ashamed of yourself? Where are you really afraid? Right? And heal those aspects and watch and see what happens with your body. We make it so, this is another thing I've done a video on this before and I'll probably do another one in my blog to go in depth about this because I don't want to spend the time about this today. But we often bring the same toxicity that caused the illness into our healing journey. And so this happens, and if any of you all are out there who are dealing with the illness or disease, you know this, because I promise you, you've either are experiencing it now or you have experienced it, where your whole life becomes about healing. And you forgot that the healing journey is really about living. It's about reconnecting to living. That's why I got sick the second time, because I didn't know that the first time when I healed my body. I didn't know that it's really about just living really well, like living a life of joy and love and staying connected in that. And after I healed, I went back into my old shit. I went back into my old shame. I went back to that old job, and no wonder my body got sick again the second time. Right. And so it's about I love what Anita Morjani says, the teacher Anita Morjani, when she says, about remission and why she doesn't like the word remission, because it puts in fear that it's going to come back. Like once you heal, oh my God, this has a chance to come back and around the corner to come and get me at any time. And it's not, if you listen to what the disease is trying to tell you, because remember, it's the indicator. It's a message. It's not something coming to get you. It's not an enemy. It's none of that. It has a message. If you remember the message and you embody the message, it will not come back. And so she says remission is really remember your mission. Remember your mission. I didn't do that well the first time. Remember the mission for why you're here. And that is to be in the vibration of love and to live a life of joy. Not a life of sometimey joy, which is what we're conditioned to believe. Like joy just comes sometimes. You're not supposed to really ridiculously be happy all the time. And you're not supposed to live a life that fuels you and charges you and is filled with you're supposed to live a life you're supposed to do work based on your passions. You're supposed to be very passionate about your work. You're supposed to have relationships that uplift you and charge you only. They nourish you and charge you and uplift you only. You're supposed to enjoy who you are. You're supposed to feel good about yourself, right? You're supposed to feel good within yourself. And your life is supposed to taste and feel good to you. That's why I say you're supposed to live a delicious life. A delicious means it tastes and it feels good to you. That is what you're supposed to do. And that's the mission of your soul here. And so that's going to look different for each of us. What's delicious to you may not be delicious to me, right? That's why we have individual lives. But that's what remembering your mission is about. That's what healing, that's why illness comes. It comes to say, can you remember your mission, please? And charge yourself up with joy and love, right? And you do that and you stay in your mission, you won't have a chance. That's why people get healed and they get sick again. That's why I did. Because I didn't remember my mission and I went right back. When my clients come to me who've healed from cancers and all different types of things, and then it comes back and they get really scared and they think, oh my God, I guess this cancer is something else, or I must have done something wrong, or it's really going to take over. I'm like, baby, that wasn't it. How are you living today? And then when we look at it, it's very clear. You're not living your life. You're not living a joyful life based upon what you really are being called to do. And so it's not about responsibility and obligation. It's really about joy and love, y'all. I promise you that's all it's about. I've talked to, and as a medium, when I did my mediumship work, and I was talking to all the souls who had crossed over on the other side, no matter how they had died, whether they died from illness or whether they took their own lives or they died of natural causes, they all spoke about this. They were like, we wish we had remembered when we were in our physical bodies what this is really all about. It's about joy and love. Joy and love. So let me read some of your comments on here, because I've been talking for a minute and you all have just been going in these comments. So I want to read what you're talking about. Yeah, so... Oh yeah, Robert saying, as a nurse on night shift, I have delivered this message thousands of ways. I'm so glad you are doing that, Robert. That is healing and angel work, and in a place that most needs it. Thank you so much, Robert, for that, for your work. And I know, listen, a person that's been in and out of hospitals hundreds of times. The nurses were the bright lights in the space. I have so many mystical experiences to tell y'all about some of the nurses I experienced and some of the conversations that happened. Like, it was only the universe. I mean, really. So I have a really soft spot in my heart for nurses, even though my mother's a physician. The people that showed me the God light were mostly nurses. So yeah, PJ saying, all these little spaces that drain the life out of me cause my adrenal glands to shut down. Yeah, adrenal stuff, a lot of time, adrenal glands usually almost always is there's all these places that you really need to say no to that you've been saying yes. That there's really all this stuff. And it's usually, again, it's not a fault because you've been taught, all of us, we were taught either traumatized in our childhood or socialized in our childhood, to not say no, to be nice and sweet and kind and suppress our needs in order to meet somebody else's. And so that's how, I know that was me. And so that's how we do. And then we wake up and we're drained as hell. And we wonder why. And that's why we're put other people before us. We put our needs go in the back door, and so we don't get charged. We don't get what we need to feel a sense of joy and to feel a sense of love, but we're always helping other people get that. And then we're not doing it. And then, so that's a drain. It's a drain on your system. And then again, your body's going to show you, it's going to tell you, hey, you're on E in some type of way. And usually with adrenal glands, that's usually what it is. You're taking on way too much. You're saying yes to way too much. And it's usually you need to say no way more and honor yourself. Yeah. And PJ just said, yeah, which is pretty much her entire life. Yeah. This is, and so what your healing is going to require you to be a different person. It's going to require you to really exercise your no muscle, to stand in that power. That's part of loving yourself, really, is to say no to everything you want to say no to, every time you want to say no to it, and to every person you want to say no to it to. It's not going to make you the popular person, but it'll make you the healthy one. I can promise you that. It may not make you the popular person in the beginning, but it'll make you the healthy one. And so the another one is, are you going to go over how we grow to a place where we believe that we deserve joy and love? Yeah. So here's one, when you understand that you're a soul and that the purpose for your life, and I want to make this very clear. The purpose for each of your lives is joy. You came here as a soul. And I'm literally going to do a blog post on the 4 reasons the soul comes here. Each soul, like each of us has kind of different ways we want to fulfill these, right? But there's really just 4 main reasons you come here. And one of them is, yes, health over popularity. Exactly, PJ. Health over, and happiness over popularity. Happiness and health over popularity. Every time. That's a t-shirt. I'm going to make that t-shirt. We're going to have that t-shirt in the Jerome Braggs community. Happiness and health over popularity. As a matter of fact, you all are going to see me take a note right now. Because we're going to make this t-shirt and we're going to wear this. Happiness and health over popularity t-shirt. I'm going to work on that this week. So I forgot even what I was saying. Y'all got me so excited about that. So to know that the purpose for life is not to like do some work or to come here and do some job. The purpose of your life is to enjoy the hell out of your life and to be your full self in it, right? To be in alignment with the energy of love. And so when you know that, the more you start to understand that, you put it in your head, the purpose for my life is joy. The purpose for my life is joy. If I'm not happy and I'm not enjoying my life, I'm not in alignment with my purpose. When you really start to get that, then that's how you start to say, of course I'm deserving of joy because that's the purpose of my life. Of course. I'm going to get that t-shirt, y'all. I see y'all saying y'all are going to buy it. I'm really going to make that one on my line. I'm serious about that. So be watching out for it. It's coming. But yeah, that's how you start to do that. And the more you start to really just make joy and joy and love, the priority of every day. So one thing I do in the morning before I start my day is I'm looking at how do I want to enjoy today? What do I want to do? What does joy want me to do today? What would be fun for me to do today? What would I enjoy doing today? What would give me a sense of passion and fulfillment? When you let joy lead your day, that's how you start to feel it. Because the more joy you start to feel in your body, you might not feel the most joyful you've ever felt tomorrow, right? It's the process, right? You just increase the joy. You might not feel the most joyful or the most loving, but you'll feel a little better than you felt yesterday. And the more you start to go up the scale a little bit, you'll start to really understand, oh my God, this is how I naturally feel. This is really my natural feeling. And wow, how I've been keeping myself out of my natural feeling. I don't want to go back there. I want to do this. So yeah, write that on a post, PJ. The purpose of your life is joy. And don't let anyone, not even another spiritual teacher, because there are some out there that have been given false, and I'm not trying to fault them because this is what they were being taught as well. But the idea that your life is not supposed to be joyful is very false. It is a false premise. Because you are joy incarnate. You are the vibration of joy, the vibration of love in physical form. That's what God energy is. You are God energy. Now, God energy also has power, ease, respect, all of those other things as an aspect of it. But the highest vibrations of God energy are love and joy, and that's what you're made of. So if you don't give that to yourself, you're not giving God to yourself. And you're not bringing God to the planet. That was a huge aha for me when I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute, what? When I got that channeled information come through, like when you're not living a life of joy and you're not connected to love vibration, you're literally keeping the energy of God from coming to the planet. God wants to come to the planet as you, through you. And if you're not doing that, you're keeping God from being on the planet. That's why it's the most important thing. So, okay, so let me go because I know y'all still got some more questions. So let me not to get stuck too much. Yeah, Sakura says I spoke to the hole in her heart due to yoga. Yeah, if yoga is what you love and you love doing it, if you're not doing it, then you're keeping yourself from experiencing love and joy. So you don't have to do it every day. You don't even have to do it every week, but you know the frequency of it that makes you feel whole and it makes you feel more like yourself. And so find that again. Try and add that back in. Like one thing for me that I had been missing for a long time was a large group of friends. And I just kind of spiritually bypassed and was like, no, I shouldn't be. I'm not lonely. I love myself and I am happy alone. And that's not what my soul was asking for. It says, yeah, you may feel good about yourself, but you're missing an aspect that makes you you, which is being in large community with people. Not everybody likes that, right? Some people, what makes them feel totally fulfilled is maybe one or two friends. That wasn't me. I like being in large communities. And so you got to know what makes you tick and what nourishes you and breathe life through you. What breathes joy through you. And don't let anybody else tell you what it should be. Listen to your intuitive and gut feeling and listen to what it is. Yeah, a lot of you all saying been there, done that. Yes, we're in September, so 9 is the number, which is the 9th month, which is the number of completion. Thank you, Robert, for pointing that out. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Thank you for being you and for being here as well. Yes, you are deserving of joy. You are deserving of joy. My Adoti brother is asking why joy is more important to our health. So I've been talking about that throughout the entire video. So if you came on a little bit late, when the replay goes on, Johnny, or watch this. Watch this again, because I talk about it. I talk about it a lot. Why joy is absolutely vital. It's not just important to your health. It's literally usually what your health is about. Like when the more joy you have, the better your health is going to be. The less joy you have, the worse your health is going to be. Especially if you've been withholding yourself from joy for a very long time. You've been resisting, if your life has been resisting joy somehow for a very long time, you're not going to stay healthy. And you will see why when you watch this. My soul is yearning to mentor and love and empower everyone. Not sure in what capacity. Speaker, writer, one-on-one. How will I know? Just follow what feels good. Literally. Don't follow the pressure. Don't put the obligation or the responsibility on yourself. Follow what feels like fun to do right now. What's exciting when you think about it? When you think about doing each one of those things, like take each one of those things separately and feel into them. Like imagine yourself being a speaker, imagine yourself, being a mentor, imagine yourself writing. Which one of those makes you feel butterflies in your stomach, makes you feel excited? Which one is like, ooh, yes. Which one feels like that? And whatever it is, it may be one, it may be two of those together. Whichever it is, that's the litmus test. This is so much. The soul speaks so easily. We've just been trained not to listen. It's really not complicated. It's like the thing the soul is going to point you towards is the joyful thing. The thing that feels like joy. because the soul is always going to point you in the direction of more of itself. Let me say that one more time. The soul is always going to point you in the direction of more of itself. And what more of itself is love and joy. So whatever makes you feel, excited, it makes you feel a sense of relief, it makes you feel a sense of ease when you think about it. That's it. And just start with that. You don't have to make it, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. If you want to speak to a room with 2 people, speak to a room with 2 people. I didn't start big. I did not start big. And also, this stuff about me being vulnerable, because I get a lot of you asking me like, I just can't start off being as vulnerable as you are. And I just can't start off with, if y'all can see how I started, vulnerability did not come easy to me because I was traumatized. One of my traumas was being afraid to be myself. So I hid myself for very long. And I did not share a lot about my journey for a very long time. It took me a long time to do video. Even though I did it maybe before a lot of other people, but before really being comfortable in it and sharing and being vulnerable, that did not come easy. This was a learned behavior. Let me make this very clear. This was a learned behavior. I've been doing it long enough now. And doing my work, and I don't have fear or shame in my body like that. So it's more comfortable. But start small. Start where you can. Like I've spoken to rooms of where there were 2 people. I've done classes where there were just 2 people. I've done classes where there are hundreds of people. But you want to start where you can. It doesn't have to be big, and allow yourself to feel into what your soul is really asking in the expression of the highest expression of joy. And the joy will lead you. It will lead you if you follow it. The joy is really the biggest GPS you have. I promise you, it's the best GPS system you have. It will lead you to your purpose. It will lead you to your wealth and your money. It will lead you to your healing. It will lead you to your lover. It will lead you, joy is the path. It's the GPS. It's pointing you right there. So follow that. I hear you. I need more friends. Robert, I hear you need more friends. That's why I found this community. I really looked out. I asked my soul, I want to be around people, the people that make me that breathe the most life through me. I have friends from all different walks of life, but the community that was missing the most was Black same gender loving men. That was the community that got my vernacular. That was community that understood my journey. That was community that I date within. Mostly I don't just date, Black men, but it was a community that I loved. That's where most of my friends are. And I found a community of people that was right along with when I prayed and asked for it, right? I asked for it. I affirmed that it was coming. I trusted the universe to bring it to me. And the universe brought me this beautiful community of men, Black, same gender loving men that are like brothers. Each of them is like someone I love deeply in my heart. Now I just need to get where I can see them more because they don't live in Oklahoma. Most of them live somewhere else. So now that's my next portion of my journey is being in spaces where those people are more. So I don't have to travel so much to see them. But yeah, ask. Your soul wants to help you. The universe wants you to be happy. The universe wants you to have joy. The universe is chomping at the bit to help you manifest all of your true heart's desires. So if you want more friends, get clear about what kind of friends you want, ask for it, and then trust that that's God to show up for you and watch it. So, having said all that, you guys, I know it's getting late, so I don't want to keep you all up too much past your bedtime. And for all those that are in Europe and all of my followers that are in Europe and other countries, for some of you, it's early morning. So I hope you're getting ready to start your day. But I just want to remind you that illness is not a punishment. Disease is not a punishment. There's no source of it. It is just an indicator, just like the indicator on your gas tank. It is only indicating that you are running on empty and you're running on the energy that you need to thrive and to be well and for which your soul came here for. And that is joy and love. If you will fill your life up with love and joy energy, you will heal of anything. Because everything can be healed, because everything can be returned to love and joy, which is the very definition of what healing is to the soul. So until next time, you guys, much, 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 much love. Thank you for staying here with me tonight. And I will see you soon. Remember, I've got a lot of juicy stuff coming. Just give me some time. But much love to you all. Until next time. Bye.